Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve Ramona and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose, serving others, and yes, achieving success. We believe that when we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart, we can truly make a difference. This show was created to inspire, educate, and motivate you to be a servant's heart and make an impact in the world. Hey, whether you're highly successful, making millions of dollars, or just looking for purpose in your daily life, we're here to support you. I've got two guys today. I've got a double guest book today that's going to blow you away, show you how a product can really be a servant's heart, which is why I'm excited to have them on. But while you're listening today, I want you to think about how you're going to serve today and what impact you're going to create today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because guess what? 2 months go by, you've never created any impact or served anybody. And today's episode is proudly sponsored by our phenomenal partner, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine working with highly successful entrepreneurs, business owners, founders of businesses to build a thought leader expert platform to grow and make an impact in the world. For more information, reach out to me and I'll get you more information on the Pantheon Alliance. With that being said, impact and service are part of what this show is about. But what I'm excited about, I ran into my guest and meeting my other guest today about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, and he's come up with a product in the cellular industry that actually is a servant's heart product. Yes, I said that, a servant's heart product. So I'm excited for you guys all to learn a little bit more. Stephen and Bobby, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. Let's jump into it. It's called Baby Pod, right? Did I get, yeah, Baby Pod, right? Tell us about Baby Pod, what it's all about.
The key part is the first portion of it, which is love, L.O.V.E. It's a love baby pod. And the dots are not for an acronym. It's because this connects you to a completely private alphanumeric extranet. We call it an extranet. It's an internet. And that's a big part of the product, is that it protects you from any kind of data intrusions, your data being sold, you're being hacked. Any of your devices through this are very, very secure. And that's only the beginning. I'm not going to take over here, but I just wanted to say it's a love baby pod because we're spreading love, which is the basis of SIVA.
Yeah, so the reason that it's called a baby pod is that the frequency that it puts out is so low that it's safe enough that you could put it next to a baby. So the gentleman that created this, he really wanted to create something that didn't put out any harmful, frequencies. And we could get into the debate on whether or not 5G and things of that nature are harmful to you. We believe that there is a potential for that. And so having a product that does a variety of things beyond that, but as that is one of the other primary things that it does do, we feel is a benefit.
Well, let's use media. And Stephen, you're going to love this. I see all the WhatsApp commercials. Hey, protect your data. Use WhatsApp, this and that. And we hear others. Apple's doing it with Safari. I hate to throw out companies, but they're on the TV. I've seen them. What makes you guys different?
Well, so let's take WhatsApp, which is a Meta product, right? It's basically Facebook. So you have end-to-end encrypted, which means if I'm talking to you, no one else is listening. But the Meta AI in the background is listening and collecting data on you and collecting data on me because they know who we are. We're on their platform. Or do you think that Meta is just so nice that they're giving you WhatsApp for free? They're not, okay? And our data is worth a lot of money. I mean, it's sold to criminals, it's sold to governments, it's sold to political campaigns so they know how to target us. And of course, it's sold to advertisers. So your data is worth hundreds of dollars a month, generally speaking. So it's not free. Now, with this device, one of the things that makes it so unique is that it was created by a First Nations tribe. The person that Bobby was talking about, he's a chief of the Okanagan Indian Confederacy. His name is Chief EnJin. And when you connect to the Love Pod, there's a built-in VPN and a dual blockchain encrypted tunnel that you're traveling through. So when you go out and surf the web, the only thing they know is that someone from the Okanagan Indian Confederacy is hitting them. They don't know who you are. They don't know where you are. And the tribe does not sell your data. They do not even keep your data. They don't store it. They don't have racks of servers that's saying, oh, let's make a list on Steve Ramona and go sell it. There's nothing there. And this is a whole part of the conversation that might be better later, but that tribe is unceded, which means that they're basically a sovereign jurisdiction. They are located in the geographic area of Canada, but they're like a donut hole. So around them is the Penticton Indian Reservation. This is an unceded reservation that has taken nothing from the Canadian government. It doesn't even touch their land. And through various treaties and recognitions from the UN, certain indigenous rights things, etc., basically what you're doing is you're now connecting to a different jurisdiction. It'd be like if the Vatican said, here's this new Wi-Fi system, and whenever you connect through it, what law are you under? You're under the Vatican's law. And they should be of service, but that's a whole nother conversation. So this Indian tribe, I should say indigenous peoples tribe, they are about service and about people, and they bring a spiritual viewpoint to what they're doing versus everything being in commerce.
You want to add anything, Bobby? Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, you're just truly protected in private here.
Basically what he said.
Okay, that's easy enough. No, it was very thorough, and you really dumbed it down. I'm a big tech guy, so I understand everything you're saying. But for people listening, going, okay, and if they're watching on YouTube, they can see behind you, Stephen. It's a cell phone with a charging cable like we use every day. So, oh, it's not a cell phone. Okay, tell me about how it works then.
So this is a mini MiFi router. So you connect your phone, you connect your computer, you connect your TV, etc. through it. There's two things that make this absolutely unique. The first one is your data is never sold or shared. You're completely private, and the tunnel actually also protects you from malware and the rest of it. The second thing is that this is a multi-carrier transport system. So not only does it work with AT&T, T-Mobile, Bell and Rogers in Canada, all the big providers, so that you don't have a dead zone. If you get to a place where there's no 4G network, because it doesn't use 5G because of that whole let's be safe with the energy, then it will go to the FirstNet emergency band. The tribe has access to it. It has its own red license. It's a country. It's totally different than a corporation. Then, if you still don't have connectivity, it will go to the satellite system. Now, as a techie, you should be blowing cookies over this. Every one of these devices is a mini satellite. It's a broadcaster and a receiver. It's a node in the network. So instead of when more people get online, your signal going down, it goes up, because there's now more towers. Every one of these is the equivalent of a tower, but on its own private mesh network.
And this,
so
go ahead. I'm just going to say the speeds are the same. I'm not going to see, like I'm with Verizon here, I get a baby pod. Are they going to be similar in speed? Not because I know it goes up and down. I know tech does that.
That's going to very widely vary based on a ton of situations. So I have Verizon home internet. My pod is faster. So even if I wasn't wanting to use the VPN built in for my privacy, so people don't take my bank account, I got to tell you, somebody stole my daughter's, social security number and claimed her on their taxes. So theft is a horrible problem, but it's faster here. Now, when you get into an area where there's really no signals, you're going to be slower. And there are some places where we still have to get it turned on, because you might be in an area where there's a little tiny telecom. The community got together and put up a tower because none of the big guys would pay to do it, right? It wasn't feasible. So we then have to be aware of them, and then we can get a key into their system through their tier one provider that they work with. So the more pods that get out there, the faster everyone's network will happen. I can tell you this was really exciting. This was only a few weeks ago. You probably remember the CrowdStrike debacle that brought down the plane systems, the banks, everything. It hit the telecoms too. Yep. So the DNSs were not propagating, and it's still a problem, frankly, in certain places. Well, my pod went red, which means that now I'm on the satellite network, or it really means I have no 4G. So sometimes I won't get any signal. But I was connected to my computer, and I was still able to get signal. I was like, how's this happening? And other people were calling me and saying, Stephen, my pod is red, my phone doesn't work, but I'm connected. How is this? It's the beginning trickle of the mesh network. It's our network. It's totally separate from any other carrier. It's separate from the regular internet, although you can get onto the regular internet with it, right? So it might be very slow, but if it's an emergency situation, like the fires in Hawaii, you'd still be able to text. You can probably still make a VoIP call.
Yeah, and you still have access to the internet. It's just going to be slow for that time frame.
Right. In that time frame, don't try to watch a 4K video on Netflix.
Yeah, and that's across the board. That's very cool. And I'm glad I said cell phone. So you make it really easy. Your existing equipment, you just buy a baby pod. You just put it up again, Bobby, so people can see how small it is. That's what I love about it. It fits in your pocket. You literally can hold that in your pocket and walk around at a convention and have access, protected your data, super simple. What's the future?
Yeah,
go ahead.
What I was going to say, I was really thinking about this because I've had some interest from people that are doing things in banking, or they're handling people's taxes, and they are on the road, right? It's obviously not a lot, but there are a few that this is how they're mobile, and they're looking to stay connected, but they can't just use a Starbucks Wi-Fi. Or God forbid, if they were at the airport and they tried to use the airport Wi-Fi, where you really are opening yourself up. Because, it's one thing to be at a Starbucks, but it's another thing to be at the airport, where there are a lot more people and a lot of people looking for connectivity. And that public Wi-Fi, just in general, public Wi-Fis are bad, but especially the airport. But this is a device that I think that for beyond just the connectivity piece, I think it's a device for people that are mobile and well, even if they're not mobile, this is like what Stephen was saying. This is a truly, like, we don't ever want to make the bold claim that something is unhackable. However, in order to even start the process of hacking this, because our encryption software is actually in the hardware, this means that you have to be within physical range of the device to even initiate the process of hacking. So it is just as it's a secure connection. And for those that are doing things with sensitive information, whether it's banking or beyond, this is a great option for those individuals.
I love it, because I'm thinking of a CPA financial advisor that travels. They're sitting in their hotel. You don't want to use the hotel Wi-Fi because you open your door. Yeah, and they probably don't. There's probably people doing it today that don't realize that, and you guys solve that problem.
A lot of people don't understand the value of data. I found it really interesting. If you watched any of the Olympics, there was a whole series of commercials with Matthew McConaughey from Salesforce as the data sheriff, right? Shooting the bad guys out west because they're trying to steal your data. That gives you an idea that there's a meme about that at that level, just how significant actual data theft is and what your data is worth. And I wanted to touch on one other thing if I could. This is actually quite affordable. Normally, if you want satellite, you're going to have to pay $500 to $600 for a dish. It's not mobile, right? It'd be Starlink most likely. And then somewhere close to $200, either a little below or a little above, depending on which plan, right? With our service, you can get a data plan that's unlimited in the United States for $48 a month. And the reason they can do that is that 95% of the time, aggregated across all the users, they won't actually be using the satellite. You don't have to be on satellite all the time, which is very expensive. So this allows there to be something far more affordable for people. And essentially now you don't have to go buy a Iridium satellite phone. Your phone is using the pod, and the satellite will get faster and faster. Okay, it's not as good as a pure satellite phone right now. We need more pods out there, but that is basically what it does. And you know, in most cases, you'll be able to find the 14, you know, the FirstNet emergency band that the first responders and the firefighters and everybody else has access to. The tribe also provides access through this device, so you get that service as well.
Right. So is this device, you know, is so a household could buy a baby pod and the whole household could use it, or is this per device? I know
well, it depends on the size of your house. So Bobby can run his house that has 2 people. It connects 9 devices simultaneously.
Okay.
Now I have a teenager, so forget about it. She has 9 devices all by herself, right? I mean, literally tomorrow there's 15 kids coming over. They all have to be on their phone.
Yeah.
I have people who run their offices on them. You know, they use it as a local area network. So their printer, their television, if it's a smart TV, their laptop, their phone, and they now have a completely secured office running off this, and they can allow a few more devices if they have an Alexa or a watch or whatever that they want to connect to it. So it just depends.
So that's a great story, because if offices are using it, anybody out there listening as a business or works in, you know, has an office, this works.
Yeah.
That's big.
I actually have a lady that she does things in she's a chiropractor, and she is using that for clients when they come in.
What a great service too, to say, hey, all your data is protected when you come in, or her data is protected, because she needs to do that because she's got patient information. Wow, this is Bobby's told me a lot. I am fired up right now because I am a tech guy. I'm learning a lot more. An audience, you need to get a baby pod. I'm just saying it right now. You got to go out and get one. So I love the future, because if we talk a year from now, this is going to be much bigger, much better, much across the board. What's your ultimate goal, Bobby and Stephen, for the company?
You know, I think one of the things I'll touch on, and then I'll let Stephen probably answer that question more in full, but we really like to focus on the fact that this is truly about a community of people. The reason I say it that way is that every time somebody gets a pod, it is only enhancing the connectivity and the network for everybody. And we look at this as everybody can be a part of what we're doing. We have there's other things that are going on that are going to be coming down the line beyond just this. But that's one thing I wanted to touch on, that community is a really big aspect of how we're growing this as a business.
It's a beautiful thing. We love that. Stephen.
Yeah, there is really a bigger picture for this, and it is of service. I want to reiterate, I don't know if we mentioned it, but the impetus, why did this get built in the first place, right? Because the intention of something, honestly, in the future directs how it unfolds. And the chief originally built these devices, larger ones than this personal device, to bring connectivity to the reservations. They're completely underserved. They don't have education. They don't have access to telemedicine. This particular chief also is a shaman, and he trained in Eritrea over in Africa. We're connected through the Alliance of Indigenous Nations. So that's another 163 tribes. The objective is to bring everybody affordable, clean access, because you can't really live anymore, unfortunately, without this kind of access in the way the world has evolved, right? And to do it in a way that makes it affordable for everybody, because when we have enough pods, you'll basically maybe pay $5 or $6 a month for the 4G portion of the network, because we really won't need it. Right now, we need it for the infrastructure and the speeds, because we're growing it brick by brick, or, you know,
Pod by pod.
And my background actually is in the service area. So I work with Pathways to Peace. I'm an ambassador for the World Institute for Peace. We want to make sure that the people who are doing service in other areas of the world, you know, there's over 1 billion people in abject poverty. They don't have access to clean water, et cetera, is to turn on Africa and provide that telemedicine, provide those educational resources, and provide economic opportunity to people where they are treated equally. So that if I live in Africa, for example, and I'm getting paid $2 or $3 a day, maybe I'm a really good djembe player. Well, I like to play the drums. I would pay that guy $10 easily to join a class that teaches me how to play the djembe correctly, right? Now they're getting paid, well, they're getting paid less than it would cost me in Denver where I live. That would cost me $100 for a class, right? But if that guy had 10 people and he made $100 US, that's like 2 months worth of salary. It could change his village. So that's what this is. This is a hardware connectivity device to bring a whole new level of safe internet that's affordable for everybody and recognizes their dignity and right to privacy that certain nation states may not protect appropriately.
Yeah. Stephen, that's a powerful message, because I know people have gone to Russia, Ukraine, and people will buy a cell phone before they buy food. 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds with poor. Africa is the same way. That's why I was thinking when you said Africa, you throw these around, they're protected, it's cheaper, so they're saving money and they can build their atmosphere. My church builds wells for the last 20 years in Africa. We've, you know, nourished. Yeah. So what you're doing is a big part of my heart. That's a servant's heart. This is incredible. Oh my God. I can go 2 hours about this, but we won't, because you guys got to go. Most important question, how do we find this? How can somebody get a baby pod?
Well, do you have a link that you
I'll put a link. I'll put the link in the show notes. So
yeah, put the link in the show notes. There's a website that explains this even more in depth. Of course, anybody can reach out to us directly if they have questions. We're happy to have a conversation and explain a little bit more, and, you know, answer anything that they have.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too, a neighborhood watch. That's another place. If you've got a neighborhood, you want safe, secure internet, get baby pods in the internet. I mean, for each house, and be protected to be able to connect. And loveworldconnect.com is the website as well.
No,
and
sorry, I typed it wrong. Bobby, you should be putting the chat, the website.
Yeah, he's going to type in the chat, and I'll say what it is. But we'll get that out to you so you could have it. Go ahead.
One second, because you said something, you know, that really hit. When you said, you know, people will get a cell phone over food. So when there's an emergency and it's life-threatening, or it's just, I mean, if your power goes out, apparently it's an emergency because you can't connect, right? This is a solution. You don't have to have, there's no contract, there's no credit check. You can just get some data, and they're coming out with much cheaper data that's smaller amounts, not unlimited, right? So that when an emergency happens, you will absolutely be able to be connected. And emergency preparedness kits, for the price of this thing, it's under $200, right? That's what it costs to go out to dinner or stay one night in a hotel. So for $200 to have this as an emergency communication system, so that your phone works, your computer works, your medical device, maybe if you have one of those that's connected, works, it's just really a absolutely no-brainer, because in an emergency, communications is more important than food. And this is the only thing that's going to go to a satellite.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Stephen, because a lot of entrepreneurs listen to this that work from home. And the power goes out, you're in the middle of a big call, or you've got calls coming up like this. I couldn't miss this because I knew it was going to be big. It's $200 flat. You get this emergency kit to keep you going when your power goes out. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah.
Not monthly, it's 200.
13-hour battery life. And your phone can plug into your car too, right? You know, the little thing that goes in the what used to be
cigarette lighter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you just pop that in there. You can charge your phone. You can charge your pod. Right. They both have USB. You see the little USB up behind me? That's how you charge it. It has a 13-hour battery life. You can have power be out of power for a week because of a tornado, hurricane, whatever, lost cable. And no, you'll still be able to communicate. If you can charge your laptop, then you can go on your laptop too.
You guys are angels, because I've looked at this stuff. They're $599 to $999. They're more than 3 to 4 to 5 times more if you went to Amazon or any place that carries something that gives you power for a certain period. I mean, you have to go buy a lightning truck for $75,000, which I'm looking at, but that works. But nobody who has $75,000 to buy a truck to power your house while the power's out. You solved that problem. Well, we're at the end of the show, man. We've gone way over, but I have a question I'd like to ask to have some fun. Both of you guys have a table of 4 at a restaurant. You both are going to sit at one of the seats in the table. Who would you invite, dead or alive, to sit in the other 3 seats? And what food would you order?
How many people do I get to choose?
You get to choose 3.
Oh, all right. Well, I would definitely go with Jesus Christ, my own spiritual teacher who has passed away, and Jerry Garcia.
Oh, yes. He's right up the road for me. I know Jerry. I don't know Jerry, but I know of Jerry. How about you? What food would you order?
I like Mexican food, guacamole.
Oh, bring it on. Okay. I'm sitting at that table. How about you, Bobby?
Margarita too.
I think just because it would be so interesting, Albert Einstein, George Washington, because I just want to know, just curious. And to make it fun, let's include Jesus in that mix. Why not? That would be such an interesting conversation.
And I would say,
even with Jesus there, I'd be like, let's get some margaritas and some salsa and chips and Mexican. Yeah, I agree.
I think Jesus would adapt to today. If he was coming back today, I think he'd adapt and have a margarita. Just saying.
Yeah, there we go.
So thank you, guys. We've got the link. I'm going to shout it out again. I'll put it in the show notes. It's loveworldconnect.com /REF equals podcast coach. It's my link. It's an affiliate link, but I want you guys to take a look at this, audience. I'm actually going to look at this $200 program for emergencies because I work from home and it could make me thousands of dollars. If I miss a meeting, it could be huge. So if you're out there and working from home or working in an office, your power goes out, this might be an opportunity for you as well, getting 4 or 5 of these. So thank you, guys. It's been a blessing. You guys are truly servants' heart. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank everybody for watching. This has been an incredible show, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day.